This is Romo Dunze, and you're listening to the Ballsville Podcast.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Welcome in, Ballsville gamers, to another episode of the Ballsville Podcast. I am your host, Scott Fitzgerald, a.k.a. Lutz for Sale on Sleeper, and this episode is brought to you by the BallsvilleGames.com. Our games combine fantasy football and poker, which create big payouts with great odds.
Big payouts, great odds.
All right, gang, welcome into our Friday show. You can see it's a two-man band today. My co-host, Sean S. Clemens, Bills Mafia. What's up, Sean?
What's up, buddy?
With this crazy Tiger King background. Before we get into it, I want to go over a few things. First and foremost, please like and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. That really helps out a lot. Also, check out the ballsvillegame.com. That's our new website. Has a lot of great tools for fantasy, DFS, lineup stuff. Also, for our gamers that play the games with us, all your leagues are on there and standings are updated. So definitely check those out. Also, like we said in Tuesday's pod, we will have our first ever Ballsville-a-thon coming in on Sunday. We will start off during kickoff, and we will go until just before the 4:00 games Eastern Coast, the late window ends. This Ballsville-a-thon. We will be donating money to the hurricane, people that were affected by the hurricanes in Florida. We have a lot of cool things. We have the GoFundMe page set up that people have already donated to. And we are also auctioning off some players cards, which should be pretty exciting, that we're going to unwrap on air and see what we got available. And then, Sean, what was donated also? Was it a mini helmet?
Yes. So we have are you ready for this? Autographed Garrett Wilson, Ohio State mini helmet.
As you can see, I went
certificate of authenticity included.
Awesome. As you can see, I went right to Sean with that because I'm not allowed to talk about the team down south here in Michigan. So I sent that over.
It has absolutely nothing to do with your fandom that we chose a Ohio State item for you to hype up all day Sunday. It really was not something that we thought about at all.
Yep. So Sean will be touting that gift, and I will not be bidding on that gift. Just to let everybody know, I will not be bidding on that gift.
Come on, Scott, you don't want a nice little Ohio State football mini helmet sitting on your mantle?
No, I'm actually looking forward to the cards, man. I want to see if I could draw myself a CJ Stroud rookie card, or CJ or JJ McCarthy. See if we can, or maybe a Jaden Daniels. Never know what could be in those packs when you open them up.
Yeah, those are fun, man. I love doing that. You actually got, I couldn't help myself. I always have to get myself a pack of cards or two whenever I'm in a card shop. So yeah, I ended up picking up a couple packs and had a little fun opening those too. It's always fun opening up a few packs of cards.
Awesome. So so it should be a lot of fun this weekend. Please come in and join us. Even just pop in for a little bit. We'll be talking, some obviously football. We'll be watching Red Zone. We'll probably be going over some player statistics for you guys. Just talking football. A few personalities will probably pop in and out from here and there, but for the most part, Sean and I will be running the show on Sunday. Okay, so I just got a text. Obviously, it wasn't for me. I'm like, I think I'm moving any furniture here. So,
yeah, if you're hearing any weird noises in the background, it sounded like there was some furniture being moved in the living room. So that was in my house, though, not yours, Scott.
Okay, all right. So,
behind my Tiger King drop screen here, I've got a lot of moving and shaking going on.
I see. So that's basically going to be our what we're doing this weekend. So please come and join us. It'll be a lot of fun. Probably be talking a lot of food. What's some good eats for the games and stuff. So everybody likes talking about food. So it should be a lot of fun. And like I said, it's going for a good cause. For some of our gamers on here that have been affected by the hurricane, unfortunately. And that's what we are in Ballsville. We like to help our community and, give free stuff away and really help our gamers, because you gamers are the ones that, make us want to do the stuff that we want to do as far as the website and setting up the games for you guys every year and doing the podcast and stuff. So definitely tune in this weekend, and you can help a good cause. And maybe,
even if you can only jump in for a few minutes, we'll be on for a while, but it doesn't mean you guys have to stay the whole time. You stay as long as you want and enjoy as much as you can. We're going to have a good time.
Gotcha. All right. We'll get into the injury report a little bit. We'll start with the quarterbacks. It's looking like Jaden Daniels, I don't know. I get a lot of spotty reports. There's reports saying that he wasn't at practice. There's reports saying that he was in one of their bubble practice facilities practicing. So he's a true game time decision. Like I always say to people, and like I said yesterday when I was asked questions about Puka Nacua, if your guy is starting, I'm playing him. I'm not gonna sit him on the bench and have him go off. Obviously, it burned people last week with Juju, which was unfortunate, but Juju's not really like an elite player. So yeah, if Jaden Daniels is in, we are playing him. And like I said, Sunday we'll be on. I'll be glued to the TV for practice reports, and if we find anything out, before game time, we'll obviously let you guys know. Tua is cleared. He is back in. Thank God, they really need him bad in Miami. So he's back in. Deshaun Watson's obviously out for the year. Derek Carr is doubtful for this weekend. So he will be out of the lineup. Tyler Huntley is on injured reserve. Obviously, well, it doesn't really matter because Tua is playing. And then Will Levis is questionable. It looks like I'm drawing a blank on the backup for Tennessee. Help me out, Sean. Oh, Mason Rudolph. Yeah. So he took all the first team reps, so I'd expect him to be starting this weekend.
Do you think that's better for Tennessee? Like as far as the pass catchers?
Well, probably. Really, Hopkins is gone. Yeah, it's Ridley.
Do we finally get a Ridley sighting for the first time all season?
Well, I mean, they're playing the Lions, which are, Lions secondary. They do give up yards in the air. They're hard to run against. So, I mean, the way injuries have been with the wide receivers, if this is a spot to play anybody as far as the receiving core, I guess you got to fire up Ridley at this point. I mean, they should be behind, so they're going to be throwing.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one, man. It's gonna be one of those situations where you don't feel comfortable playing him, but you might have to.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I'm not gonna be excited to do it, but you almost just got to do it. Okay, over to the running backs. It looks like McCaffrey should be ready for week 10. So you still got a couple more weeks. ETN will be a true game time decision. He did practice limited Wednesday and Thursday. That could be pretty messy with Tank Biggs being there. Bucky Irving will play with his toe injury. He will be in the lineup. Jonathan Taylor, he will be back this week. That's much needed help for that offense. Jerome Ford will not play this week. Alvin Kamara will play. Another player is Tajay Spears is questionable this week. So let's see, questionable tech upgraded last week. Okay, yeah. So he's still kind of watch for him. The lines are hard to run on anyways, so I don't really I'm looking too much into Tennessee backfield.
I don't even like having Pollard. Unfortunately, I have to play him in a league that I have no other option right now for this week, and it's. I still don't like it, even if Tajay is not playing, just because of the fact they're playing the Lions.
Right, and another running back that it's like this would be like a super deep stash is Keaton Mitchell. Is looks like he's going to be rolled out week 8, but I would if you have deep benches, I would pick him up and stash him. He's pretty explosive. I'm not sure if he'll crack the lineup over Justice Hill or not, but like I said, if you have deep benches and it's worth a stash, you might be worth picking them up. They do run the ball a lot in Baltimore, so just something to look out for as far as if you're looking at a deep stash. Okay, we will move on to wide receiver. Let's scroll down here. It's looking like DK Metcalf is doubtful for this week, so looks like a lot of JSN, possibly obviously some Tyler Lockett. Jacoby Myers is expected to play this weekend. Zay Flowers is questionable. He was unable to practice on both Wednesday and Thursday before returning to practice at limited Friday. I've always said even if they're limited on Friday, there's a good chance they're probably going to play. So I would watch on that, but I would expect him to play.
Fire up your Bateman shares.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman, career day last week. It looks like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson are both off the report, so fire them up. Debo, with his illness, looks like he's going to be back in the lineup. Jawan Jennings will not play this week, so fire up your Ricky Pearsall for the first time this week with not only Ayuk, but with Jennings out. So that'll all be interesting. Quentin Johnson is doubtful for this week. So, and DJ Chark is questionable. So, McConkey didn't really have the greatest game last week, but we'll see if what happens when DJ Chark comes back in. Because if we all remember, he was targeted quite a bit in the preseason before he got hurt. So that ought to be interesting this weekend. That would be something to definitely look into. And over to the tight ends, it looks like Taysom Hill will be back in the lineup. Dallas Goedert was spotted at Friday's practice, but I think he was downgraded to doubtful. So he, actually is ruled out. So he will be out. George Kittle's questionable. I expect him to play. Will Dissly questionable. I expect him to play. And then TJ Hawkinson, they just activated him off the PUP list. So it looks like he will be back in the lineup week 9. So anything else that I missed, Sean?
No, I don't think so. Not that I could think of off the top of my head anyway.
Okay. Let's get into last night's game. We will talk about a pretty exciting game yesterday. And the LA Rams salvaged their season. They were victorious. And
they're in second place in their division.
Yeah, so after last night's game, it's looking like, I can't look into the future, but it looks like that having Puka and Cooper Kupp back definitely made that offense a lot better. So going
100%.
forward, Sean, do you think it's safe to say that Cooper Kupp's probably not going anywhere?
As far as leaving that team, yes.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I don't think he's leaving that team at all because they're not out of anything. Like I just said, they're tied for second now, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the Seahawks are only one game ahead of them, and then the other 3 teams are all sitting there at the same record, 3-4. So, they're one game out of taking that division title right now and running forward with that. So if they can kind of get their claws back in this now that they have their 2 superstar receivers and their offense is looking like it's supposed to look. They can carry that team. They definitely have a chance. There's no reason to trade away your stud player yet right now. I think that was all just people trying to hope that he would be available and trying to get the wheels spinning. But I don't think the Rams ever had any intention of getting rid of him unless they lose. They lose to Minnesota, maybe. But I don't even think then. I don't think McVay has it in him to just completely throw in the towel in week 7 like that.
I mean, Demarcus Robinson did have 2 touchdowns, but they were just his only 2 catches. So,
and that was only because the Cooper and Puka took all the attention. Right. I mean, that's why he was getting those passes.
Right. So basically, looking at some statistics, as far as the game, the team statistics. I mean, this is 2 weeks now that you can see how you can beat the Vikings, run the ball, time of possession. LA had 33 minutes of time possession. They had 107 rushing yards. So to beat, and just like Detroit last week, they ran the ball on the Vikings. So they can be run upon. Sean, what do you think about? Okay, so that call at the end of the game, the face mask.
Oh,
I'm
geez.
thinking from going forward. I mean, they're not going to do it this year, but next year, I just think everything, whether it's plays or penalties under 2 minutes, I think should all be reviewed.
Yeah. If so, why can you review a pass interference but not a face mask? That doesn't make sense to me. Why they wouldn't include face mask as a reviewable play if they allow pass interference. So, I mean, to me, it should be everything is reviewable at this point. I don't see any reason why we should have anything that's not potentially reviewable, because it's what needs to be done to be as fair as possible, right? So why not just make sure everything is covered? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it should be. And then, like I said, we're not saying, review every single thing, but anything under 2 minutes in crunch time, it should all be reviewed. And I mean, you can even go as far as, if it's a blowout, maybe you don't have to.
And I'm not saying it needs to be reviewed where you stop the clock and go into this long process. I mean, they've been doing pretty good with the Sky Judge call changing and stuff that kind of comes in, and like they do it in less than a minute, and they get like a call from upstairs, basically. Like they could do it like that, like all they got to do is just wait a few seconds, get the call from upstairs. Yeah, there was a blatant face mask, and the guy can drop the flag before the next play's allowed to start up, and there you go. It doesn't have to be a whole big deal, But that was blatant, obvious. Like to me, it's always trippy how the guy with the ball can be fouled so egregiously and it not be seen by any of the referees. Like that to me is always baffling. It's like that's where somebody should be looking at the guy with the ball at all times. I'm assuming as a referee, that should be like that's where most of the action is, wherever the damn ball is, right? So, to me, it's always crazy that something like that can just be missed by so many different eyeballs.
Yeah, especially like you said, everyone's watching the ball. So the quarterback's got the ball, and then you see his head just like snap.
Yeah,
completely.
And then not only his head snap, but then his shoulders followed. So it was just like this whole process, like no matter what, any 360 angle, if you're looking at that quarterback, any 360 angle, you could tell that there was a face mask. It didn't matter what direction you were looking at him from. You would have been able to see it, unless you were like maybe directly like behind him to the right slightly, but that still at that point, like you could tell by the shoulder movement and everything that he was getting ripped around by his face mask. It was obvious.
Right. And I don't think fans would really care about the stoppage as long as, I mean, as a football fan, you just want them to get the call right.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. You just want it to be called right. And actually the game, was still, I mean, even though it was a long shot and yet they had to go basically, I think they started with the ball at like the 3-yard line. So they had to go like 97 yards with no timeouts, and they were down by 8, but it's still a 1-score game. Anything can happen. We've seen crazy stuff in the NFL, but everyone just wants to get the call right. And that, like you said, Sean, it wasn't like a pass interference call. It wasn't like a holding call where it was like, you really got to, I mean, this was like blatant, like where everyone's like can see it. And I don't know how they missed it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one too. It's just it's frustrating to me too that they say that it's just not reviewable at that point. Like that's to me is just stupid. Like even if it's not like a reviewable play, I don't think any coach on that field would have been upset if they were like, "Hey, we're gonna fix this call because it was obvious." On either side of the field, because I saw the handshake. I don't know if you noticed the handshake from the coaches, but it sure as hell looked to me like Sean McVay said, "Hey, man, that should have been a face mask call. That was bullshit that you didn't get that call, Like I could tell that Sean, like, because he kind of put his hand over his mouth and whispered and talked into his ear, pretty close for a good few seconds. So to me, I think that's what he was saying, was he's basically apologizing for the ref's fuck up, and telling him that, he understood and, he's on his side. Basically, he knows that the call was fucked up.
Right. And so, even the defensive player, I don't remember his name, but who made the defensive play, I mean, he put his hands up on his helmet like, oh shit,
he knew he just did that. Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
He knew he did it. So
yeah,
it's
just like what happened with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. They changed the damn overtime rules because of one specific incident, right? Like I could see this being an incident that changes that rule moving forward.
Yeah, it has to be. Obviously it won't happen this year, but next year they're going to have to.
Yeah. And let's not kid ourselves though that this made the whole difference in the game, because it didn't. I mean, it was a safety and it made difference. Yes, it definitely impacted the outcome, but it wasn't the sole reason. They still had to drive all the way down the field after that penalty and score and do it that way. So it's not like that one specific thing was so egregious that it completely changed the outcome of the game.
No.
That didn't happen like that to me. It was still play that needs to be fixed. It brought up an issue that needs to be fixed, but I don't think it 100% changed the actual outcome.
Right. No, I don't think it did, but I mean, like I said,
maybe the spread.
The Vikings would have been in a little bit better of a position because it would have been a 15-yard penalty. It would have got them out of the back of out of the shadow of their end zone. They'd have had a first down. The clock would have stopped, and then you never know, man. You send Justin Jefferson on a fly route, throw him a pass. All of a sudden, now you got pass interference. Now you got the ball.
Yep. It took away that opportunity for that. Yeah, absolutely. But it wasn't that the one thing that literally they would have won if this didn't happen. I don't think that's the case.
No. So we'll just we'll go over some statistics real quick. Both quarterbacks were really efficient. Both had 73% completion percentages. Darnold was 18 to 25 for 240 and 2 tuds. Looked very good in the offense. He's definitely has the command of the offense. Matt Stafford was 25 to 34 for 279, 4 TDs. He did have 1 pick, which was a pretty bad pick. Kind of overthrew the receiver. I don't know if the receiver just stopped or just maybe it's just a bad throw. This was the whole tell of the game. Kyron Williams, 23 carries for 97 yards, 4.2 a carry. Blake Corum got a little bit of run, just 4 carries. On the other side, Aaron Jones had a nice game, 19 carries, only 58 yards. But what was really good was he did catch 2 for 37 and had a nice catch down the sideline. So he didn't kill you. Jetta had 8 receptions for 115 on 9 targets. And then obviously everyone was looking at the other side with Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua, Sean, I think going forward, we have to say, and like I said, I was a little critical in the preseason. I did say that I didn't think Puka was the clear number 1. I thought it was more like a 1A, 1B with Cooper cupping on top. But going forward, do you think Puka's probably the number 1 in that offense now?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far yet. I mean, I'd have to. I'm not ready to make that statement at this point because I was the same as you, and I still kind of am. That he's still the 1B to the 1A from Cup. And, I think that this game, there's going to be games where he has a better game and there's going to be games where Cup has a better game, but I think in the long run, I think as far as the way they look at that offense, I think Cup is their 1 and Puka is their super solid 1B. And that's kind of how they play it, plus, Stafford still being there, he's going to get his boy the love. He's not going to just completely abandon his homie. So, I still think they're both going to be wide receiver 1s in fantasy, so that's something you can hang your hat on for sure.
What up, Jeff? Jeff Zubikis is in.
What's up, Zuby?
Zubs is in. He's the biggest Puka advocate that we have on here. I think he's got him in a million leagues.
Yes, he is.
And he was real nervous about playing him yesterday. And I told him, man, if he's active, you got to play him, man. You can't, because how sick would you've been right now, Dubes, if you had Puka on your bench, with 106 yards on 7 receptions. I mean, it would have looked pretty bad. What's up, Alex? Alex is he's in the house.
Presidente.
Yep.
I'm with you on that, man. I put Puka in last minute on my big league because of that same thing. I'm like, dude, I just can't. If he scores well, I don't want him on my bench and then have to stare at that all week, mad at myself for not making the move.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'll take the whatever happens. I'll take the score that he gets, whether it's good or bad, and that way at least I know I'm happy. And it worked out well, so I'm happy. Happier than I anticipated even. So hopefully moving forward it'll stay this way. And if he stays healthy, I think that you got yourself a piece you can plug right into your wide receiver 1 role. Good to go.
Yeah, I got a big matchup this week with Zoobs and for first place, and I think it might be mid stakes. We'll talk about that. I think today. I think it's mid stakes, and it helped. It helped.
And that tells you all at home that Scott will never tell you bad advice to help him out. He will always give you sound advice, whether it's going to be against him or not.
Yep. It's all, yes, for sure. I will never steer you wrong.
Purposely.
There, Fran's in the house. What's up, Fran? So everyone's starting to kind of get in here now. The only thing, everyone for the most part, for fantasy helped everyone out. The only thing that kind of sucked was
Aaron Jones
really did suck was no, Aaron Jones did all right. It just both Darnold's touchdowns went to Josh Oliver and Trent Sherfield, which that helps nobody. So
Trent Sherfield, man, I remember that name.
Yeah. So I mean, no Addison, no Jetta, no Aaron Jones out of the backfield. Both touchdowns went to guys that nobody's playing. So yeah, that's probably the only thing that was unfortunate in yesterday's game. But we got a pretty good Thursday night game with a lot of pretty good stats and with two good teams that hope probably by the end of the year we know the Vikings will, and then the Rams should have a winning record by the end of the year and push for the playoffs. So, you got anything else on yesterday's game, Sean?
No, I was really excited about the whole Puka deal, and I'm glad we broke that down, because I do think those two guys in that offense now, it's going to be a huge bonus. And you're looking at Matthew Stafford now as potentially QB1 territory now that he's got all his weapons back. So it's going to be a fun outcome to watch. That whole division, really.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, let's move on to.
What do you think, real quick, Scott? What do you think about Minnesota taking the loss and now falling, not only the loss to the Lions, but now another loss? So that puts them like 2.5 games basically behind the Lions.
Oh, well, I was rooting for the Rams. I mean, I'm not a big Stafford guy, but I was pulling for the Rams to pull that game out, because the Lions did beat Minnesota at their place. So we'll get Minnesota on the last game of the season in the den down here in Detroit. So
that's gonna be a fun one, man. The way that this is playing out, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, hopefully they'll flex that game, maybe make that like a a Sunday night game. That would be pretty cool.
They might do Saturday too, because they aren't they Saturday flexing at that time of year?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Zoobs, you missed out. We were just talking about penalties being reviewable. Yeah, hopefully they do that next year.
Yeah, we're all in agreement that needs to change.
Yep. All right, let's get into the like we do on Fridays. We talk about our mid and low stakes redrafts. What's up, JoJo? JoJo's in the house. What's up? We're living. So yeah, let's get into the mids. Sean's got.
There we go. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, there it goes. All right. This is our lovely scoreboard page built.
Yeah, look how beautiful that scoreboard is. I mean, Alex does a great job every week updating that. I update the high stakes, and Zubikis has been updating the mid and low, and I mean, look at that. We got all the cool backgrounds, and everything is nicely updated every week. Yeah. So our website's looking better and better every week, and I mean, I go on it every day. I mean, it's so cool to check out. There's our big game stuff right there.
Yep, and then here we are with our low stakes.
All right, we're gonna start with the lows. All right, we'll start.
And then starting out with the low stakes alpha, we have. Can you read this, Scott?
I got it up on my computer.
Go for it, my friend.
I'll read right through it. So this is our low stakes. This is $25 redrafts. I'll run through these. We start off with alpha. In first place, we got Team Punisher, who's on a 4-game win streak. He goes by Bucksides. He's got 1,058 points. So you'll notice as we scroll through these, the teams are now getting now that we just finished week 7. Teams are getting into like over 1,000 points now. So you'll notice that. Coming in at number 2 is K Doggy Dog, 1,011. We got Getaway Car TB76. He cracked the 1,000 mark. And then the TC Show comes in at 4th at 950. So that is our alpha. So coming in at number 2, we got Beta. You'll notice TB76. He's doing real well in these low stakes. He comes in at 1049. Just numbers. comes in at number 2 at 10:55. There's the TC Show again at number 3 at 9:69, and then K Doggy Dog at 4th at 9:37. You'll notice on here that TB's on a 5-game win streak, and he hasn't spent not a single dollar in waivers. At where you got the show, he is out of shekels. So that is beta number 2. Number 3 is Gamma. Allen Wrench, Lynn JM comes in at number 1 at 11:44. Pretty nice score right there. Billy B comes in. Now both these teams are 6-1. He comes in at 10:22. Finding Debo, there's TB76 again. So all 3 leagues he was in the top 4. 9:51, and then Honcho Jack 41 at 10:66. So like I just said, TB76 in the first 3 leagues in the top 4, and then Lynn JM is at nice score at 11:44, and then both teams are 6-1. Her and Billy B, and that is Gamma.
I like how she has the Patriot logo and the team name is Allen Wrench, which means that she most likely has Josh Allen on that team also. So any Patriot fan out there, they can't deny that Josh Allen is the man. They've still drafted him.
There you go.
Had to say it.
So now we get into number 4 Delta. Super Camario is 6-1, 971. So pretty low score for first place. Usually you're cracked 1,000 for their Pecos Parachute School is 1177. Now that's a real nice score. He's 5-2. Team Kentic 15, 1009, 5-2. Connect. Well, yeah, I butchered a lot of these names. And then Themus Popoff at 962. He comes in at 4. And then CT Show is just outside. So we got a CT Show. Again, he's just outside the top 4. So that's low Delta. Number 5, we got Epsilon, low 5. We got Stu 6923, 6-1, 3-game win streak, 998. Jimmy Wojo, 5-2 at 1138. Very nice score. Fiery Cliff, 980, 5-2. And then there's the TC Show again, 1047 at 4-3. So we're noticing the show is in a lot of these low stakes top 4 also. Number 6, we have Zeta or Zeta, however you want to call it. Geo 55 is 1067 at 5-2. Themis Popoff at 1030 comes in at number 2. C Sims 52 at 925, and K Doggy Dog at number 4 at 1026. So that is low 6. Kappa, low 7. You got that one, Sean?
I'm sorry, sir.
There we go. Jason 124 at 5-2 at 1074. C Sims at 943, 5-2. Big Tama Z420, 4-3 at 1005. And then there's Grizz Tony, 4-3 at 1004. So pretty tight league right there. Jason hasn't spent a dime in Fab. Where you got Big Tama, he's out of shekels. It's sitting at number 3. And then the CT Show is just outside the top 4 at 4-3. So that's low 7 Kappa. Low 8 at Omicron. There's JoJo. He is our DFS analyst on our tools. Has a lot of good content. He's on a 6-game win streak, 6-1, 1152. A nice strong score. Coming in at number 1. Right behind him is TB76 at 6-1 at 1021. Grizz Tony's at 5-2 at 1042. And then Shawnee Mac 24 at 946. So congratulations, JoJo. Very nice score. And
a little gold crown sits on top of his avatar perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Congratulations to JoJo. You're off to a great start, and that is Omicron. Low 9. Mad Dog Hoik. That's me at 6-1, 1023. And right on my tail is JoJo with a 5-game win streak at 1065. At 5-2, we got Fins 0913 at 1053 at 5-2, and hashtag Prez 966 at 5-2, a 4-game win streak, and hasn't spent $1 and fab. So I got 3 5-2 teams right on my tail. That's low.
And you lost last week too, so you letting them catch up on you.
I did. I had a bad loss last week, so
sitting at 5-0 until that. All right, 6-0. I mean, until that point.
Yes, very unfortunate. And then low 10, we have Mr. Flood Cute, 11-18, very nice score, 6-1, 4-game win streak. Carson Peeve, 10-20 at 5-2. He's not spent $1 in fab. Big time us Z420 at 4-3, 1092. He's out of ducats. And Team Chiefs Life, there he is, 4-3 at 1079. And just outside the top 4, we got El Presidente West Lex at 4-3 at 919, trying to get in that top 4. And that is number 10 Omega. So that is our low stakes. We're going to move over to the mid stakes, and the mid stakes is a $50 buy-in. Everything's the same. So we'll start off with Raiden. And sitting at number 1 is Rookie 86 at 6-1, 1031.88. Team K Doggy Dog on a 5-game win streak, 5-2 at 1054. Tecolate 991 at 5-2. Yeah, I think JoJo did beat me in that last game. And then number 4 is the Dude, Halfman 9, 5-2 on a 3-game win streak at 990. He has not spent $1 in fab, so he's climbing up the leaderboard right there.
Because he's spending all his money on White Russians.
Yeah, that's Raiden number 1. Mid 2 is Smoke. Mike's the guy. 3-game win streak, 6-1, 1056. We got T Zillin 18 at 1004. He's on a 2-game losing streak. He's 5-2. K Doggy Dog is 966, 5-2, and then there's Grizz Tony at 4-3 at 931. So we got a 6-1, 2 5-2s, and a 4-3, and that's mid Smoke. Mid 3 Sub-Zero, we got Prosciutto, Legends 2, Philip, 3988 is
it's a cheese thing.
7-0. 7-0. 1159, nice score. I think that's the only 7-0 team I've seen so far. Mike's the guy, 6-1 at 1064. Short stack 11 is a 5-2 at 992 on a 4-game win streak. And then there's JoJo, I call Gibbs, at 984 on a 2-game slide. Congratulations to Philip Phillips, 7-0 with a nice 1159 score. He's still got half his fab money left, so he's in the driver's seat. So that's a very good. That's a very good team right there to be at the top like that with a good score and still a lot of fab left. That is mid 3.
My favorite league.
My favorite league. What is this name, Sean?
Noob Saibot.
Noob Saibot. All right, mid 4.
But I want to hear you say it because it's always more fun.
I think I got banned from saying that name from Alex. I don't think Alex liked that too much. But all right, we'll come in at number 1. We got Cash 3, 5-2 on a 5-game win streak. So he started off 0-2 and ran his way to the top. 1088, but he's fresh out of ducats. Mr. Ben, the Brick Squad, he's fresh out of ducats. 11 or 10-11 as far as the score goes on a 3-game win streak. And Jigba, please. Sorry for cussing. 4-3 at 1059, and then Finch GDX 1001 comes in at number 4. So a couple regulars at the top, but they're fresh out of cash. So no more pickups for them unless they're for free, and that is number 4 mid. Number 5, we got Luke Hang. Mr. Ben doing this. 6-1, 3-game win streak. 1102. He's fresh out of cash. Team Cheeky Hobson, 1106 on a 3-game win streak, 5-2. Mike's the guy, 876. That's kind of a low score right there to be in third at 5-2. Pablo Escobar, 4-3 at 1059. And then just outside the top 4 is Chiefs Life, 13. So that is our Luke Hang mid 5. Go to mid 6, Kung Lao, Adrenaline Mob. He comes in at 6-1, 3-game win streak, 1023. He is out of money. And then we'll go to Eddie Money 18, 931, 6-1. So we have 2 6-1 teams. Themos Popoff at 1050 at 4-3. And Ridley's Believe It or Not, sorry for cussing, is 4-3 at 1031. And he is fresh out of cash. So we got 2 6-1 teams in this league right now.
Look at the difference in the scoring. All these guys have 1030, 1050, 1020, and then he's down here at 931, but still sitting at 6-1.
Yep. The matchups for sure.
Yeah.
Let's Kung Lao.
In your favor.
We will go to number 7 now, Reptile. And Cash 3 on a 3-game win streak. He's 5-1, 10-10, 54. He's fresh out of cash. Team K Doggy Dog, 5-2, 978. Pablo Escobar comes in at number 3, 4-3 at 1126. That's a pretty nice score for sitting in third. And then Chadwick, 0304 at 4-3 at 1006. So that's crazy. Pablo sitting there at 1026 or 1126. Pretty nice score for sitting in third. That is number 7 Reptile. We go to mid 8. So mid 8, like I always say every week, this was the pod league.
Jimbo's Bimbos is here.
Yeah. Oh, Jimbo Bimbos just stepped in. What's up, Jimbo Bimbos?
What's up, buddy?
Way to make it in. So this is our pod league. A lot of our pod personalities are in this league, along with a lot of our gamers that got in here. So sitting at the top is Lekka Decorum. It's JoJo. He's our DFS analyst and expert at sitting at 5-2 at 1068. Mr. Ben, he's one of our high stakes and mid stakes gamers. He's in a lot of leagues. Spend a lot of cash getting in those leagues. 5-2, 1034. There's C-Bomb, who's the co-host of the Monday Guillotine Pod with Sean at 5-2 at 982. And then Gino Gregario at 5-2, 965. So
Gino Grigio.
Grigio. There you go.
Like the wine.
Like the wine. Okay. So that's our Scorpion League. So congrats to JoJo for sitting at the top, but he's got a couple guys right on his tail. So that's mid 9. We go to mid 10 or mid 9. I'm sorry. Katana. And here's the league that we were talking about. I am 7-0. Congratulations to myself. I think I'm one of 2 7-0 teams that I've seen so far at 1075. Mr. Zubakis is on my tail at 5-2. We got a big matchup this week. He's got a head start with the Puka, and Zub's on a 4-game win streak, 10-08. And then Team Cash 3 is 5-2 at 1023. And then the Brady Bunch, Mr. Been Doing This, is 4-3 at 1066. So big matchup this week between me and Zubs. So
a lot of high scores in that league too.
Yeah, a lot of high scores. So it's a very strong league. So hopefully I can make it 8-0 next week. Sorry, Zubs, but you're going down.
Puka, stop that from happening. His head start's going to be enough.
And number 10, mid 10, Sang Soon.
Yep.
Is that what you say it? Sang Soon?
Yep, that's the bad guy right there.
The Punishers, Mr. Ben, 5-2. 1037. We got sorry for cussing, 5-2. He's on a 5-game win streak. So he started off 0-2, ran his way up to second.
You gotta say his team name, Puka de Booty.
Puka de Booty. So he must have Puka for sure. Team short stack 11 at 964, and then there's Chiefs Life at 1003. So pretty tight league right there. 3, 5, and 2 teams, a 4 and 3. Pretty interesting. Pretty good league right there. All 3 at 5 and 2. So
awesome.
That is our mid and low stakes roundup. If I remember right, there was only 2 7-0 teams. I can't remember if there were any 7-0 teams in high. I could probably look real quick. I'm on the page. Let's see if there's any 7-0s in the highs real quick.
I don't believe there is in any of the leagues I'm in and the 3 I'm in.
Let's see. No. No. So out of all the high stakes, or all the redraft leagues, only 2 7-0 teams.
Wow, about to be one 7-0 team. That's crazy.
So Zoobs, you're going down this week because I am keeping my undefeated record going. So we will go from there. All right, we will move on. We are going to get into what everybody likes to talk about and everybody tunes in to see. And what is that, Sean?
The trade talks.
Right. And before we go on to them, I see people are getting into chat. This is definitely the start segment, or day of the week. So definitely get in your start sits if you want us to break them down. So, all right, Sean, I'm going to let you. This is your favorite part of the show, the trade talk. So tear it up.
All right, let's bring up our first trade. Now, remind me, Scott, I believe we talked about this trade because this is the trade that we discussed in the last pod, correct? The one that we had to go over and make sure everybody understood that it wasn't a trade that was considered collusion.
Yeah, we went over to this trade.
So we will move a bit past this trade, but we wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we did have this trade during the week also.
Yes.
So we just talked about it once already. The next trade that came up, we had from the Charizard League. This is between Aquila and our good buddy Jimbo's Bimbos. He's out there making trades while he's cleaning up. That's awesome, man. Time to do everything and still make trades, man. Good for you, brother. You got Darnell Mooney, Jeremy Rucker, and Kyron Williams at a 2025 second and a 2025 first going to Aquila. And in exchange, Dimbo's Bimbos is getting Dalton Kincaid, Kareem Hunt, Jerry Jeudy, J.K. Dobbins, and Isaiah Pacheco.
Okay.
It's hard for me. I mean, I probably, if I had to make a side, I'd probably lean towards getting Kyron in the picks because I do think that Mooney has got some value still. So the only piece in that trade that I think is something that's not going to be a huge value to him would be Jeremy Ruckert, but that would just be everything else I like. So maybe I lean that way slightly, but it's very, very slight. And if Dalton Kincaid can turn it on like I hope he does the rest of the season, then I would definitely go that route. So it's kind of gonna depend on how the season plays out a little bit. So to me, that's a fair trade.
Yeah, I'm looking at okay, so I think fair value, do you think, would be Kyron for Dobbins and Pacheco? Because it is Dynasty, and Pacheco's definitely coming back. So I'm thinking those two, Kyron and Dobbins and Pacheco, would probably cancel out for me. So now I'm left with Mooney, Rucker, and the picks for Hunt, Kincaid, and Jeudy. Yeah, I think I'm going to just slightly lean towards the picks. Because I agree, I think Mooney has found his home in Atlanta. Is the WR2 in that offense. The Jets, you still got who's the tight end I'm thinking on the Jets? The starter.
You're talking about the guy that's their starter over there, Conklin?
Yeah, Conklin. You still got Conklin there. And I've always liked Kyron Williams. I mean, he's in that system, he's just the one back guy. And then these picks, especially getting that first. I don't think it's crazy not I think it's somewhat even, but I still would take the picks. But it's not like Jimbo's getting like nothing in return. I mean, Kincaid started off a little slow, but we're talking dynasty. And then Dobbins looks pretty good. Pacheco's going to be coming back healthy. Hunt will be relegated to the bench. So, and then Judy.
Yeah. They'll have a different quarterback next year, most likely, right?
Quarterback and Cooper's gone. So, I don't think it's that. I think it's pretty even, but I just think I would just slightly lean the picks because I think the best player in the deal, which I always default to, is Kyren Williams.
Yeah, I think Pacheco and Williams I would consider close-ish. I think Pacheco's still behind him slightly, but I like, Pacheco in that like next tier behind Williams. So I think they're close enough. So I'm with you on that one. I think it's just a slight difference, but it's not. To me, it's if it's that close, then it's a good deal.
Yeah, Jimbo said he's a depth guy, so he, it looks like he wanted some depth, and we got to understand too. Picks are great and everything, but they're just random picks. I mean, they're first and they're second, but they could be anybody. I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting like a top 5 or 6 pick.
And based on the players that he got back in this trade, that's not what I anticipate because I don't think he would have made this move for the players he did if he was in a situation where he was towards the back of the league. This feels like a trade for somebody who's trying to make a run for a ship.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it definitely looks that way. And like I said, he traded for a tight end, so he might be, and I don't know if it's, and so maybe he doesn't have a tight end. And he did say that he made a trade prior that made this trade more of a necessity for him. So we might be hitting that trade here in a minute, and because they're not in any particular order in here. So, we might have some more clarification with another trade coming up as to why he made this move. So yeah.
There he is. He's back, everybody. He's back. He's just pulling a little Halloween trick on you real quick. All right, so let's check out the next trade, huh? This is also the Charizard League, but this is not the trade with Jimbo's Bimbos, so we'll see if that comes up here soon. So this is between at Let's Go 12 and Brady D. Yeah. They at Let's Go 12 got Brian Thomas, Matthew Stafford, and a 2025 second. I don't know why I keep saying at. It just feels good. Brady D got Jordan Love. So after last night's game, I'm leaning a little bit towards the first trade, but it's hard for me to go away from Jordan Love without a first round pick. So if that second was a first rounder, I think I'm okay with that side of the trade, but it being a second rounder, unless it's really early second rounder, which still I think I lean towards Love. Because Love is a young quarterback in a dynasty league. Super flex is always important.
Yeah, you know how much of a everybody knows how much of a quarterback whisperer I am, and if I'm getting an elite quarterback for my dynasty team, I'm like, I'm going all. I mean, I'm hitting. I'm smashing accept. I mean, I'm not even hesitating.
Yeah. And it could be a great trade for both teams if he had good quarterback depth. And now Matthew Stafford becomes his third quarterback, and he still has 2 really solid starters to play. And Matthew's his third guy, and he adds a Brian Thomas. Then that could be a win for him too.
The only way I would think that that would be a pretty even trade is if that 2025 second was an early 2025 first.
So you think it's that far different? Like it would have to be early first to make it.
It would have to, because Jordan Love to me, and this is just me, I think he's worth 2 firsts, and Brian Thomas is a first, and I would need another first, and then Stafford's an expiring quarterback. So, I want, if I'm trading away Jordan Love, I'm getting maximum value.
Awesome. So you're on Brady's side. Brady definitely got the best value out of this one.
Yeah. I'm taking the elite quarterback all day.
All right. Moving on to the next one. And this is in the Charizard League. Again, this league was going cray-cray with trades, but this is not Jimbo Bimbo. So we still have potentially one more Jimbo's Bimbos trade in this league.
Yeah, it
This is between.
seems like that league always trades. Like that seems like it's the most active trading league.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with the Pokemon theme. Who knows? We got Patrick Mahomes, or I'm sorry, TB76 and Chase Beatty 25 made this deal. TB76 is getting Patrick Mahomes, DJ Moore, and Josh Jacobs. And in exchange, Chase Beatty 25 is getting Jalen McMillan, Geno Smith, a 2025 first, a 2026 first, a 2025 second, and a 2026 second, all from TB.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
What do you think, Scott? I'm still kind of
I would
up in
have
the
to
air a
see.
little bit.
I would have to see if. Okay, so the team who traded away Mahomes, he would have to be in a rebuild.
Yeah.
Because I like the value that he got back. He did get, even though it's an older quarterback, he did get a quarterback in return, which it would have been nice if he got maybe somebody a little younger, maybe like a Dak in return or something like that instead of Geno. But he did get a quarterback, and then he got 2 first-round picks. Hopefully they're early, because you got to make sure you get another quarterback. So it's like, especially in 25, when there's going to be some quarterbacks coming out, you have to find a way to replace Mahomes. So if what I would do, I mean, I kind of like the deal for both sides, but if I'm the guy that's getting all the picks, I'm doing whatever I can possible to package the 2025 second, both seconds, and possibly that 26 first, and trying to get 2 early first-round picks into next year's draft. That way I can grab 2 young quarterbacks in next year's draft, because there's going to be about 4 quarterbacks, 5, maybe 5 that come out next year that are going to be okay. So I'm trying to get as many quarterbacks as I can, because you're giving away an elite quarterback. So I don't mind it. I think it's a pretty even trade. I like how TB's getting Mahomes, getting still a good receiver and a pretty good running back. So it looks like he's probably win now. But I'd like to see what those draft picks were. But I think it's pretty even. I do. I think it's a pretty even trade. What about you?
I'm leaning towards the Mahomes more Jacobs side slightly, just because I like the value of those players, and like you said, it being a win now scenario. I'm assuming that those are going to fall at bottom 3 picks in the draft most likely. So you're looking at like a late first on each one of those, late first, late second on the 2025 picks at least. So like you said, I definitely want to get another first rounder early, but the way that this looks is the potential is that maybe Chase's pick will be an early one. And so he's planning on taking a quarterback with whatever pick he gets. And then he's going to have this extra pick to take whatever position's best available for him later in that same round. So if that's the case, and he has another already good like second quarterback on his roster from before he made this trade, like say he had like a Burrow or something also on his roster, then I think that at that point, then I would probably lean towards what Chase did. And to me, this is a classic like trade that you make based on exact scenarios. Like Chase, maybe he's had a bad run and he's fallen behind, and it's time for him to start looking at a rebuild. And TB is maybe looking better than he might have anticipated and wants to add a few more pieces so that he can get his team from like pretty good to really good. And so they each basically got exactly what they wanted out of the deal.
Right. I mean, to me, it looks like I said, to me, it's Mahomes for 2 firsts, DJ Moore for 2 seconds. So you're looking at McMillan and Geno for Jacobs, which, I mean, it does look like Jacobs probably the better out of the 2 players, but I would have liked to maybe get somebody instead of McMillan, somebody like that maybe has a clear path to a starting role next year, like a Jermaine Burton type, even like I still like Josh Downs, who is the number 2, like somebody like in that range instead of McMillan, who's still has to fight with Mike Evans if he plays another year or 2, and still with Chris Godwin coming back. But short term, it looks good. But like I said, he's not really competing so this year if he's taking all these picks. So, you're counting on McMillan next year, and Mike Evans should be back. Edwin should be back. So I would like to see.
If I'm Chase, I try to move Geno. Unless he's likely my only quarterback I have to play, I try to move Geno to a contending team at some point.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's pretty even.
All right. Next one we got. This one took place at 421. So my assumption is that both of these owners were very red-eyed at the moment of this trade, but that's just me. And so let's talk about what we got. We got K Doggity Dog and Pablo One Escobar making a deal. K Doggity Dog gets Amari Cooper and Kyle Pitts, and he is sending away to Pablo Escobar, Jameis Winston, Calvin Ridley, and Trey McBride. So I didn't get what league this was from, but the way the trade players and everything, I'm feeling like this is a redraft, one of our redraft leagues in the Ballsville is what I'm assuming.
Yeah. This looks like somebody's hurting at quarterback. Somebody either.
Oh, we lost him there. But yeah, it's definitely, I'll go ahead and break it down for you guys while Scott jumps back in here. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing the same. I see, I like the Amari Cooper, Kyle Pitts ad. I think Amari Cooper is going to be a really useful piece for the rest of the season. And I do think Kyle Pitts is still going to get his share of that offense as they continue to grow with Cousins getting more and more acclimated. So I'm definitely liking that part of the trade. I do like that Jameis Winston is coming in as the Browns, quarterback now moving forward. I think that's good for everybody on that team. So he's going to have a piece he can play. Calvin Ridley, I think, will do better, especially now that they've traded away DeAndre. I think Ridley's going to end up getting more targets. And obviously Trey McBride, we know what Trey McBride is in that offense. So, to me, I feel like it's a pretty even trade to me. I'd probably, just because I'm going to be a little bit of a homer, I'm going to go with the Cooper and the Pitts side. But I wouldn't hate you if you chose the other side either. I think this is another one that looks pretty even to me.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty even. Like I said before I got cut off, it looked like somebody needed a quarterback. So obviously they probably had Deshaun Watson or maybe another quarterback, Levis or something like that. And they went down. So they had to get a quarterback, and he may still be competing. So he, maybe just said, look, I can't lose a quarterback. So yeah, I think it's pretty even. I think Cooper's, there's went to like probably the best spot out there besides the Chiefs, going to the Bills. So
I think it's even better than the Chiefs, to be honest, because there's more weapons on the Chiefs, like with Kelsey and the way that they run that offense. I think that he's better on the Bills offense than he is on the Chiefs offense.
Right. And I mean, Kyle Pitts, I don't know. I think it's obviously a little bit of a downgrade, but I agree though. I mean, Ridley hasn't shown anything. And even though Hopkins is out of town, Ridley's just not, I just don't think he's going to be the receiver he was before. So I slightly lean the Cooper and Pitts side, but it's not, I don't think it's like outrageously bad or on either side.
Yeah, I agree. All right. The next one we got is our Ghidorah League. And this is, we got two of the guys that are here.
Big owners here, big boy owners here.
Right? Yeah, we got JoJo and Westlex, our El Presidente, Alex and JoJo making a deal here. Whoa. JoJo is getting DeAndre Hopkins, David Montgomery, Jordan Love, and a 2025 third. He's giving up Jordan Whittington, Kyler Murray, and Jameson Williams, and a 2025 first.
Wow. God, whatever side I go on, I'm going to get yelled at by the other guy.
Yeah, right.
But hey, and here in Ballsville, we got it.
I think I'm gotta say, I hate to do this to you, JoJo, but I gotta lean towards Alex's side a little bit, man. I like that Alex got a 2025 first in his deal. I think that first is really what is solidifying it for me as to lean that direction. Because I think, if you look at DeAndre Hopkins, Whittington, I feel like you're getting a slight upgrade to Whittington, being that he's a rookie and potential, you don't know what you're going to get from him yet. Hopkins, you pretty much know what you're going to get for, the remainder of this year, really. And that's probably the extent of it. So, I think the David Montgomery, the Jameson Williams, I would consider that a slight wash just because Williams is going to have a longer career than Montgomery. So I think it'll be, that kind of a wash scenario there. So to me, then you're looking at Murray and a first for Love. So or Murray and a first for Love and a third. And I think I definitely would go with the Murray and a first in that scenario.
Yeah. So I'm okay. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna say Whittington in a third. Get rid of them. Williams and Montgomery. I think they cancel each other out. So now you're looking at Hopkins and Love for Murray in a first. I wish JoJo would have got somebody like that's not going to expire.
Yeah.
You know, Hopkins is just, I think he's 32, going on 33. And I don't think Murray's that far from Love, but Murray hasn't really been like, I know a lot of people on here were touting he was going to be like top 5 quarterback. And, you know, he's not unlocking Harrison. You know, he's, you know, just basically McBride every time. So, you know, I still like Love is like, and the best player in the deal, if you take out picks and everything, it's definitely Jordan Love. Did JoJo overpay? I don't like giving up a first. I would have been fine giving up a first, but I think you needed to get somebody a little bit younger than a Hopkins. I'm trying to think of somebody in that like maybe like.
Well, you mentioned Josh Downs. You know, like that wouldn't be a bad target. You know, somebody young like that.
I think I would have wanted somebody like a DJ Moore, Moore.
You'd want to go up that far with a DJ Moore.
I think it would have to be like a DJ Moore type. You know, I don't know where JoJo's going to end up in the standings, being the first, being a 2025, but I think I would have to get somebody like that DJ Moore range. You know, so was it a slight overpay? Yeah. But I think you got the best player in the deal. And I think sometimes you got to overpay a little bit if you want to get you know, what people say, get your guy.
You know, and we
Alex,
all know you don't make a trade with Alex unless you overpay.
And you know what else made out? You know, he got Kyler Murray. He basically stepped down a little bit, but he ended up getting a first. So I mean, you know, I think that makes up for it. So I mean, I'm not going to say, you know, yeah, did JoJo overpay a little bit? So what? I mean, he got his guy. So I think both parties are happy.
I agree. Whew, sorry about that. Little skip one there. This is in our Smaug League, and it's Smaug. So you know, for next time you have to say it Smaug. That's how I say it anyways. I could be wrong. I just like saying it that way. So we've got in this trade, this is Luca McA and Drew Bless 13 making the deal. Luca McA is receiving Joe Burrow, Demario Douglas, and a 2026 first. And in exchange, Drew Bless 13 is getting Geno Smith, TJ Hawkinson, AJ Brown, and Justice Hill. At first glance, I'm going with the Joe Burrow side just because of the quarterback aspect. But I'm going to keep looking a little bit more.
To be honest with you, I really don't think it's really that close, to be honest with you. I think I'm just going to, and everybody knows I'm not the biggest Joe Burrow guy, but he's back. He's having a great year. I mean, hopefully he's comeback player of the year because I got a prop bet on that. So I like getting the first and Burrow and Demario Douglas. Eventually, I think he'll be unlocked in that offense with Drake May. You know,
AJ he's got that potential to be like that Edelman type of guy for them. You know, with Drake May there now for a few years, you know. Yeah.
I mean, Drew might have needed a tight end, you know, and he wanted to get Hawkinson in the deal. I mean, it's not like you got a bunch of, you know, it's not like you got crappy players in return. It just, I mean, you gave away an elite quarterback, which is like we've talked about. It's hard to come by in Superflex is getting those elite quarterbacks in Dynasty. I mean, they're hard to come by. You just, the like I've always said, the cheapest way to acquire them is either in the startup, you know, in a startup or in your draft every year. So to get them in a trade, you know, I think that's a bonus. So
and the trade that you don't have to give up any future picks.
Yeah.
That's also a surprise. Usually in a quarterback like that gets moved, there's picks involved.
Yeah, I mean, he basically gave up AJ Brown and TJ Hawkinson. You know, for him, you know.
Yeah, he gave up Joe Burrow for TJ Hawkinson, AJ Brown, basically.
Yeah. So,
Which I mean, and it's not a TEP league either, so that's another slight knock on the TJ Hawkinson side because he doesn't get that extra bonus from there. I think it would have been better if he just dropped that 26 first out altogether, and then I think you're okay.
I agree.
Burrow and DeMario for those four, I think you're okay there. But that 2026
Yeah.
first puts it over the top for me.
Yeah, that first was too much.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But this is the type of trade that you live and you learn from. Like you make this type of deal, you kind of realize as you play out the next few seasons, like, oh yeah, that I probably shouldn't have done that, and then you just work better as you move forward. We've all made trades that we're unhappy about. I sent away CD Lamb for a horrible trade right before he started blowing up, and it still eats at me. So you look at trades like this, man, even if you feel like you didn't quite get what you should have got out of it, you just know that next time moving forward, you'd be more cautious. And that's all. It's a learning lesson, really. And it's not a terrible one either, because you still got some good players. It's not like you got nothing.
Gotcha. Yep.
So I believe this is our final deal here. So with that trade, that Jimbo Bimbo, we must have went over that one prior in the previous episode because we didn't have another trade for Jimbo in this one, unfortunately. We got this one done by a couple of our regulars again, Grizz Tony and Mr. Ben doing this, swapping just a straight up receiver for receiver deal, Terry McLaurin for Devontae Adams. So, for me, looking at this deal, I've never been a big fan. I know people like to do it, and, it's easier. You feel like it's easier to kind of evaluate when you're looking at, oh, you're back. Awesome. I was just saying that, I'm not a huge fan of these trades where we got like receiver for receiver swaps, just like one player, receiver swaps, or running back swaps, things like that. Just to me, it just seems like it's not beneficial for either team, really. It's kind of just you're basically just, giving up a bag of brown rice and getting back a bag of white rice. And like, it's really no difference. So, I just don't see a reason for making that deal without incorporating some sort of another piece in there that can help your lineup somehow. So, not that it's a bad deal. I think it's a pretty even trade. I think McLaurin and Adams are probably ranked like almost next to each other, if not next to each other. So I don't think it's a bad deal by any means. I'm not a fan of the, one receiver for one receiver type swaps.
No, I agree. I just think I've said it in the past. These trades to me are just pointless. I mean, they're just they don't make any sense unless you're just like a fan of the player. Because that's the only way. Like, you're not looking at this as like, as a business decision. It's just you're just trading like Sean said, a bag of rice for a bag of rice. So, these trades to me are, like I said, they don't make any sense. I don't really see how they're really improving their situation. They both have decent, good quarterbacks throwing them the ball. They're both in pretty decent offenses. Both players are somewhat healthy. It's not. This wasn't dynasty. This was redraft. So it's not like older, younger player. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm not even going to comment on who got the better end of the deal because I just think it's not worth commenting on. I just wanted to bring that trade up because, I've always said in the past that, these are trades that I just don't think they make any sense.
Yeah, there's just I don't see the value in it for either squad. I don't see the reason for making that move, either way. So that's why to me, it just doesn't seem like it's necessary. I mean, if you're doing a receiver for a running back, okay, you need running back depth, maybe you have a strong receiver core, like, okay, that makes a little more sense why you would do something. But when you're swapping same positions like that, to me, it's irrelevant.
Yeah. And these are two owners that are very, very good owners in our high stakes leagues. I mean, Grizz Tony's up at the top a lot with his leagues. Mr. been doing this. He's up, is in multiple leagues. He's doing well in the standings. So I almost want to just like reach out to them guys and pick their brain and be like, dude, what are you guys doing? What made you guys make this trade? I mean, the only
thing I could think of is like Devontae Adams got traded to somebody's favorite team. Like that's the only I guess the timing of the trade and everything. That's the only reason I could see why you would want to make a swap, just like a one player swap like that for pretty level players.
I mean, Jimbo does make a good point about if you wanted to stack, make a stack like somebody's got Rodgers
Uh,
or
yeah,
Daniels.
that's true.
But I mean,
That's true.
I mean, you're not. This isn't best ball. It's redraft. I mean, if you want to do a stack, I guess that would. Yeah. I mean, I agree. That's probably. There's only two reasons. Either you want to stack, or you're a fan of
Right.
these franchises.
Or maybe or maybe it's the other way around too. Maybe one of them had Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, and now they don't want to have both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson on the same team, and so they're trying to move Devontae Adams up just to get a different team on their starting roster, so they don't have two starting Jets receivers on their roster.
Yeah, no, true. That could be
You
it.
know?
So yeah, I'd have to deep dive more into it, but
Yeah, so you're right though. There are, and Jimbo brought up a good point, and that does kind of give me some understanding. Okay, maybe there's a few different things that I wasn't considering that could have factored into this. That being one, and then what we talked about for the Garrett Wilson factor. So that's definitely some good points there. Good job, Jimbo, bringing that up.
Yep. So is that it for the trades?
Let's double. Yep, that is it, my friend. We are all out of trades for the week.
Okay, let's get into the start sits. I know we got some start sits questions. I know somebody threw one in chat real quick before we get to the list. Let's do the one in chat first. So Zoob says Douglas, I'm assuming that's Pop Douglas, and Tolbert in the flex. Had DK, who's out, and Devontae both out this week. So Demario
Did they
Douglas
actually rule DK out officially today?
Yeah, well, he's doubtful. So I mean, that's pretty much out. So Demario Douglas or Jalen Tolbert. And what I usually do is I go right to the ballsvillegame.com and I go to the tool section and I hit up the Ballsville Ultimate Matchup tool for week 8.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that there is a Ballsville Ultimate Matchup tool on the ballsvillegame.com?
There is lots of tools on the Ballsville game. And
that's
to help
awesome.
you with all your fantasy needs. And it's very color coordinated. It's very nice and pretty. And so I go right to this and I will go right to the New England Patriots where Pop Douglas is. And they are playing at home against the Jets. They're getting 7 points. Their team total is 17.25. They are number 26 matchup. So that's highlighted in red, which means stay away. So then I will go to, who is his other player? Tolbert. That's Dallas, is at San Francisco, 20.5 implied total. And they're number 23. So 2 bad matchups. So what I usually do in this situation is I kind of look at the game script environment. So it looks like Dallas and San Francisco is a 4-point spread. 46 over under, implied total 20. So that's telling me that game could be a sneaky shootout. There should be some passing. Game environment should be pretty good for points. Where New England plays the Jets, 7-point spread. So it's a little lopsided. Over-under is only 41, and implied total is 17.25. So looking at that, I'll go with the game environment that looks like it could be a little bit of a shootout, which would be the Dallas-San Francisco matchup. So I'm going to fire up Tolbert. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, the only thing that would make a difference, for my opinion, better than what you already mentioned with those amazing tools on the ballsvillegame.com that are always up and ready and updated weekly. Other than that aspect of it, the only thing that I would consider a factor would be if the D-backs for the Jets are hurt, because the Vikings are playing the Patriots are playing the Jets, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
And so they had some injuries in the last game with Sauce, and their other on the other side of the corner, I think, went down too. So I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But if those two guys are going to be out, or one of those two guys are going to be out, then that might swing my opinion towards the Douglas side a little bit.
Got you. And I'm trying to get okay. So Jimbo wrote in. Let's see if we can break down this question. Bucs are going to play the run game and 2 tight end sets to slow the game down with Atlanta. How will that fare for them this week? So I'm assuming he's saying, how are the running backs? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's basically wondering how that. The way I'm reading it is that he's wondering how the Bucks, how it's going to turn out for the Bucks. Is it going to benefit the running backs a lot? And is it going to change what happens with Atlanta because now they're trying to play that ball control game and keep the ball away from Atlanta's offense? So would that factor in on the London and the Mooney and the Cousins, Bijan, as well as it would on the other side of the ball with all the Bucks players?
Okay. So Tampa's at home against Atlanta, 2.5 point spread, 46 over under, 21.5 implied total. So it's looking like that could be possibly a sneaky shootout. Atlanta's implied total is 24. So to me, I think it could be a sneaky shootout. Now, as far as Tampa's offense, the quarterback, Baker's the number 8 matchup. The receivers are the number 12. The running backs are number 24. So it's saying that you can still fire up Baker, still fire up McMillan. Another guy that could be sneaky is Sterling Shepard. So veteran receiver, great plays for DFS. McMillan, Shepard, cheap guys if you're trying to put together a tournament. So I'd still fire up those receivers if you can. And I wouldn't be afraid of firing up Baker either. As far as the Atlanta side,
definitely Otten.
Yeah. And the Atlanta side, the Kirk Cousins is the number 3 matchup. Receivers are number 8. Tight end Pitts would be number 9. So yeah, I would fire up both those receiving cores and both those quarterbacks and both those tight ends. So I think
you don't think that the Atlanta or the Bucs situation with the receivers being out means they're going to change their game plan a little bit and go for a slower ground and pound attack?
I don't think they're going to be able to do it because I think this is going to, what the numbers are looking for me are Atlanta has a real good matchup as far as, like I just said, quarterback number 3, receivers number 8, tight end number 9 matchup. They're going to score points. I think this game's going to be a shootout, which is going to be a lot of.
So the Bucs will be forced to keep up, basically, is what you're thinking.
Exactly. Now, I'm not saying the receivers aren't going to catch the ball. They will catch the ball in the backfield. So, I'd expect maybe another good game for Rachaad White out of the backfield. I'm just saying running the ball, I think it's going to be very hard for both teams to run the ball. It's going to be more of a shootout with the receivers and tight ends and then receptions out of the backfield for both Bijan and Rachaad White.
So I've got a good one for you since we're talking Bijan. What about Bijan or Hall? Who's the better play this week?
Okay, so Hall, I looked at this one earlier. So, I was just looking at the Jets earlier because I was kind of looking at that game. So the Jets are -7 on the road. So the game script is telling me that, they're going to get the lead. They're going to run the ball with Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. The Jets running backs are the number 3 matchup on the matchup tool. So I'm firing up Breece Hall all day.
Okay, so Hall over Bijan for the week. I understand that for sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's where I would have leaned to. It just was curious if the numbers fell the same way I was thinking.
Yeah, Bijan's still going to have – I think he's still going to have a good game because he's going to get receptions out of the backfield. But, how are they going to integrate Algier? I don't think it's going to be a big running game. Like I said, it's going to be a passing game. So Bijan's still going to be effective in the passing game. But in the Jets situation, I just think they're going to get the lead. They're just going to run the ball.
Yeah, I could see that too. And I think the Jets are going to come out fired. They're going to come out fired up, dude, ready to just pound and prove themselves because of the way that they got beat up by the Steelers after picking up Adams like that. I think they're going to come out and they're going to be ready to roll this week. So my anticipation is that same thing. I think the Jets basically control that game.
Right. Okay. There's a couple questions in Discord. Did you look at those at all, Sean?
Yeah, I've got one here. So we've got Jonnu Smith or Will Dissly.
Okay, so Jonnu Smith, the Miami Dolphins, versus at home against Arizona.
Yep, and Tua coming back too, so that makes a big difference for them Dolphins.
Yep, -3.5, 25 implied team total. The tight end is the number 11 on the matchup tool. Will Dissly, the Chargers, they're at home against the Saints, -7, 24 implied total, and they are number 12. So actually, it's very, 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 very close. So you see a 12 for the Dissly, and then Miami. I think at Miami, I said it was 11. Yeah, 11 and 12. So when they're that close, obviously I'm going to go and I'm look at how is this game going to play out game script wise. Miami and Arizona, like I said, -3.5, 45.5, 25 implied total. It could be a shootout, a little bit of a sneaky shootout. I look at the Chargers in New Orleans. Chargers are -7, 40 implied, or 40 over under with a 24 implied total, which is pretty nice. I think this, like I said, being that it could be a little bit of a shootout, I may lean towards Jonnu Smith. But, Will Dissly is the only thing in town really there. They're missing Quentin Johnson this week, so they could do a little bit of more Dissly. And then somebody made a comment earlier in one of the Discords that's saying that Tua doesn't like throwing to the tight end very much. So
yeah, Jimbo's just said the same thing.
Did he? Okay.
There in the third here too, yeah, and that's true. He doesn't.
Yeah, and Dissly's coming off a pretty good game. So you know what? I wouldn't. It wouldn't kill me to fire up Dissly. I probably would do it.
I would too. I'm definitely going Dissly too because after the way that they hit him with the ball and being a Harbaugh and a tight end in a Harbaugh offense.
Yes,
I'm all for Dissly until he proves me wrong at this point. Especially over a guy like a Jonnu Smith who is a hit or miss kind of a candidate. So yeah, I'll take Dissly and go that route.
Yeah, and then like I said, with Tua being back, fire up Tyreek, fire up Jalen Waddle. I mean, I think they're not throwing to the tight end. So yeah, that's good call, Jimbo, on that one. So yeah, fire up Dissly.
We got one more here that I think is going to be the best one. So I think I saved it for last because I think it'll be a fun one to talk about. You ready for this one? Bo Nix or Patrick Mahomes?
I've been getting a lot of Patrick Mahomes questions this week on who to start and who not to start. Should I start this guy over him? This guy over him? So,
Bo Nix playing Carolina, I mean, it's hard not to play him this week against that team. They look horrible. So, I mean, that's a tough decision.
So Denver's at home. It's hard to beat the Broncos at home in Mile High. It's a minus. So this is how I'll break this down. So Denver, Bo Nix is the number 2 matchup tool against Carolina. So that's awesome. Number 2. But I'm looking at how the game script would play out. They're giving up 10 at home, 25.5 points implied total. So they're going to score some points. But not only is Bo Nix the number 2 matchup, but the running backs are the number 1 matchup out of the whole tool. So -10 shows me if they get the lead, they're just going to run the hell out of the ball. So fire up Javonte Williams, McLaughlin, Estime. I mean, all them guys are in play. But then I look at Kansas City at Las Vegas, same thing, -10. They're giving up 10 points, 25.5 implied total. Mahomes is the number 10 matchup tool, number 10 on the matchup tool. So to me, they're kind of even in a way. And as much as I want to be like, yeah, go ahead, fire up Bo Nix. It's awesome. You know what? I'm not going to sit Pat Mahomes. I mean, he's an elite quarterback. I'm going with the best player out of the two. And like I said, game script wise, I think if Denver gets any kind of a lead, they're just going to run the hell out of the ball. Now, I'm not saying that Nix isn't going to have a good game because he's been known to run. So he's going to pile up the rushing yards, but they don't need to pass in this game. They can just run the ball, get the lead, play good defense, and wrap it up. So I'm going to go with Pat Mahomes. What about you, Sean?
So, God, it's hard because I do like the matchup a lot. But sometimes when, like you said, when a team is playing a bad defense like that, the quarterback sometimes ends up being the victim in the fantasy realm because they just run the ball like crazy and all their touchdowns end up being rushes and the quarterback gets no love. So, that could potentially be the case even though it's such a sexy looking matchup, it could happen that way for Knicks. So it's hard for me to sit Mahomes pretty much anytime because he's still Mahomes, right? I mean, even though the fantasy scores suck, he's 6-0 and they're still scoring. It's just not happening for him right now. But I don't think that's going to continue forever with him. So it's hard for me to sit Mahomes, but it would be one of those ones that I don't make my mind up until like 9:45 on Sunday morning. You know what I mean?
And it could be bad for both of them because if looking at the matchup tool here, Kansas City is the number 4 matchup with the run. So fire up Kareem Hunt. I mean, they're going to run the ball, but the only outlier I see in this game is they just got DeAndre Hopkins. I'm pretty sure that Pat Mahomes is going to start some sort of a connection with D-Hop. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets in the box. And Mahomes gets his 1 touchdown, and they get.
I think we get one of those D-Hop like 50-50 balls in the end zone.
Yeah.
I think he throws at least 2 or 3 of those up to him because he's just going to want to get one of those connected.
Right, and it could be a game that Worthy's been pretty quiet. I mean, it could be it could be a 50-yard, 60-yard screen pass to Worthy who takes it to the house.
And that's the thing with that offense. Like Patrick Mahomes at any moment could give you that 70-yard, 60-yard touchdown pass that changes the entire week. So
right,
it's hard to sit him.
Right now, Bo Nix can do that, even though it's a bad offense. Denver's going to get Surtain back, so he'll shut down one side of the field. He'll be on Cortland Sutton. It's not a crazy thing. It's not a crazy, putting ththose 2 teams together. It's just when you break down the numbers and kind of figure out how the game's going to go, you just play the better. You always play the best plays. Someone always told me, a guy that's big into DFS, when I always would ask him, how do you know what to play? This and that. He goes, look, just play the best plays. Just play the best plays, and you'll sleep like a baby. And if you get it wrong, most likely everyone else is getting it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Good advice.
Yep. So, all right. If nobody else has any questions, we will just wrap up the show. I just want to remind you guys all that we are doing our Ballsville-a-thon this weekend. Are we going to go off right at 1, or are we going to go a little bit earlier?
We're going to jump on about a half hour before start for the games. So, 9:30 East Coast time, 12:30 your time.
All right. And then,
West Coast time, 9:30.
And now that we have a few more people in, just to go over it again, Sean, we're going to give away a helmet, football card.
Yeah, we got an autographed Garrett Wilson Ohio State mini helmet, which I really wanted Scott to say the whole sentence out loud, but he wouldn't do it.
About that.
And we've got some packs of cards that we're going to be giving away as well, and potential some of those cards. I mean, there's this deck that we have has a CJ Stroud rookie card in it that is already worth over $3,000. So there's a potential that one of these decks could have one of those cards in it. So it's going to be a really exciting, fun time for us to do that.
Yep. And Jimbo, I see you're still in here. This Ballsville-a-thon is not only for you, but it's for the rest of everyone that's was impacted by the hurricane. After showing us those devastating pictures and everything, we really feel for you. You've been a great, gamer for us and always in the chat and very interactive with us. So, like I said, it's the least that we can do is do this, for you guys, and hopefully we raise some money for you and help you out with what you're going through and along with some other people that were affected. So.
And I'm also little quick announcement that I'm going to do here, Scott, too, since we're going to be on during my Bills game. For every touchdown that Buffalo scores, I'm going to donate a dollar amount of the number of the player that scored that touchdown to the fund. So everybody should be rooting for Bills touchdowns to Dalton Kincaid. So I donate $86 for every touchdown that we make.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Awesome, Sean. There you go.
Yeah, but I'll be doing it live as we go. So as soon as the touchdown happens, I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to go ahead and donate right then and there each time. So if anybody else wants to jump on that bandwagon and donate for whenever your team scores a touchdown, however you want to do it, you're more than welcome. We're looking to do stuff like that and have fun as much as possible throughout the time. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of incorporate those types of moments throughout the day too.
Well, just to let you guys know where we're at, we're up to $300 already. for the fun. I made a donation. Our producer Sarah M21 made a donation, and then Sean's mother's business gave us a very generous donation. So thank you very much for that.
And that is also the same business that donated all of the items for the drawing or for the auction.
So that's really awesome. So hopefully, like I said, we'll be on for about 6 hours on Sunday, and then we'll probably leave the GoFundMe page open up for another week, and then we'll tally it up. So we set a we set a goal for 5,000. Hopefully we can get to there or get close. And like I said, we're gonna be on for 6 hours on Sunday talking football all day. So we're gonna have a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys just pop in. And like I said, just anything you can afford would be great. Like I said, we're auctioning off stuff, so it's just going to be a good time. And like I said before, it goes to a really good need for people that are in need right now. So for my co-host,
just so you guys know, if James Cook scores and it's a 4, I'm not going to donate $4. I'm going to add a 0 to that and put a $40 donation in there. Okay, so just don't worry, guys. If it's somebody with a low single-digit number that scores or anything, I'm not going to be that guy. You're not getting $1 from me, that's not gonna happen.
Well, hopefully, Cook scores like 5 touchdowns. Oh,
did you see what Jim just said here?
No, I missed
in the thing. So Jimbo, if you want to do this, that's totally up to you, my friend. It's 100% up to you if you'd like to. But he says he has his auction. He'd be willing to auction off his signed pick of Richard and Kyle and Adam of the Petty NASCAR. So he's got Richard Petty, Kyle Petty, and Adam Petty's signatures on the NASCAR memorabilia. So yeah, that's awesome, man. Jim, if you have that, feel free to throw a picture up in the Discord so that we can put that up on Sunday. And if you want to do that, my friend, you are welcome to. What we're gonna do is anybody who wins these auctions and gets the item, you can DM me your information so that I can go directly down to the store the next day, and I'm going to put that item in the mail for you. So, if you want to do that for whoever ends up winning, Jim, on your end, you're welcome to. We're more than happy to help however we can with that. But that's really generous of you, my friend. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really generous. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Jimbo. And then, like I said, until Tuesday's pod, you guys have a great weekend. Definitely, like I said, go to the ballsvillegame.com, go to the tools section. We're winning in DFS. We're winning in season long. So definitely hit those tools up, and don't forget to pop in on the Ballsville-a-thon on Sunday and give us a shout out. And if you even want to come on, we'll give you the link. You can come on, say hi, with us and talk a little football.
Yeah, we're going to share the link in Discord for anybody who wants to join on, because we want it to be a round table party line kind of event. So anybody who wants in, you're more than welcome to jump in for at any point in time. And I'm going to be dressed up in my Halloween costume on Sunday too, so you guys will get to see the craziness that I'm going to bring to the table.
Jesus. All right. Well, you heard it first here. So until Sunday, I guess until Sunday, we won't say Tuesday, until Sunday, Ballsville Gamers, for my co-host Sean Sklem, Ballsville Mafia. Until Sunday, folks, we are out.
Later.